Pardon an interruption, this is Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're interested in making your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
The Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Just Us Radio presents the Star Chronicles.
How about this, Cowboys?
Yeah! And goal. Elliott into the end zone.
Cowboys Nation, welcome back to the Star Chronicles Cowboys Football Podcast, episode 16. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us for our program. We got our co-host Lisa, and we got the return of Ron, aka the Starstruck Fan, back in the house. How are you guys doing? Just listen to the fans. Just listen to all the fans and stuff. So first off, we like to ask how was recovery from trying to do the Dak dance last week? That is the hip back in place.
No, throwing some hips around.
I was making sure. Rumor has it you got Bo Jackson hip now. Is that true?
Probably so.
It's
good to be back.
Yeah, but it's good to have you back as well. And we would also like to thank Kyle for filling in for you as well, because he's done a stellar job as well.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
Big shout out. Wonderful job.
Yep. Is everyone doing good this evening? Are we feeling better? Cowboys victory, 35-24 over the Detroit Lions. I feel good. Got to go ahead and get a free coffee from my favorite coffee supplier twice today, because there's a shift change, and the second people who see me, they don't know I'm getting my second free coffee. So it works well for me. But yeah, it was a victory, but there's always that big but when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, another slow start, and to be quite frank, I'm very, very concerned about it. What is your thoughts on that, Lisa?
Honestly, I don't feel much better than I did 7 days ago. I mean, it's a little bit better because the arrow does tilt in our favor, and now we're, we are atop the division, as terrible as that is. I mean, not us being atop, it's the division is terrible, but
yes.
Yeah, yesterday there were concerns on one side of the ball. Well, actually, two of the three phases give me pause. But I mean, at this point, all you can do is, it's the same song. It's the same song. We sing it every week. Slow start, special teams, run defense, blah, blah, blah. Now, there were some other things that exposed themselves yesterday, I felt like, but we can get into that.
Okay. What was your overall thoughts of it, Starstruck? And it's funny because when she says it's the same song, I got that Digital Underground song like in the background of my mind playing. That all around the world, same song. Doom, doom, doom,
well,
doom,
when
doom,
you thinking that, you were just saying earlier, he's like, well, everything went well, but then you still got that big old butt, and you had me thinking about EU doing the butt,
yeah.
Big old.
Doing the butt. Ow, sexy. Yeah, I remember that song too.
But yeah, my overall take, man, good job as far as on the offense. We never put ourselves in a situation where I felt that I thought the pressure was going to become so immense that I'm like, this can't keep going on, that we're bound to have a turnover or something if we have to keep on scoring every time Detroit scores. But the offense kept it moving, kept it going. And, we all saw the defense, and, we've got to figure out what in the world.
Yeah, it's really difficult, but it is really difficult to understand and grasp what's going on with the defense, because on paper, which I know that's a cliche term in itself too, on paper, it just looks like, we got talent. Especially up front, second level, our secondary suspect. Everybody knows that. Cheeto needs to be put on a catapult and shot off to the sun. We do have a GoFundMe account for that if you guys would like to donate. But it's just something I'm just not quite understanding about the defense. I mean, it's just not. I mean, they're not tackling; they're missing tackles. First initial contact, you can run into the guy and he'll gain another 5 or 6 yards. I mean, it doesn't make sense. What do you think, Lisa?
To me, it's almost, we talk about the stuff that you can't teach. But the stuff that you can teach is what we fail at. Fundamentals. Like we are poor tacklers. We, poor angles, it's all the fundamentals that can be taught. It's just, I feel like we're oozing at the things that you can't teach, but yet the fundamentals is where we fall off completely on defense. And, I will say, I feel like, I feel like the front four exposes the middle three, 2 or 3, and then the back, I feel like they expose each other, but it all starts like we talked about with the front four. And, I feel like that's why, but even like Leighton, LVE, he suddenly forgot how to tackle. And I feel like Jalen did better yesterday. The one hit that he had on that one running back, I was like, oh yeah, you do know how to tackle. And it was form tackle and it made a statement. But yeah, I just feel like the fundamentals are really suffering right now on defense.
Yeah, I mean, thoughts on that, Ron?
The thing is, I can't understand is we've got an advantage over 31 other teams in the league when it comes to defense. Because we've got 2 defensive coordinators on our sideline. Why?
In theory.
Yeah, in theory.
In theory. So I'm like, what is going on here? Why, between 2 guys, we can't seem to come up with I just thought it was a match made in heaven, perfect match made in heaven, where you would have Chris Richard kind of taking care of the secondary side, Rod Marinelli kind of getting those guys up front to do what they do, and just together, we just have this monster of a defense. And I get that. We've got some injuries and things like that. But I thought what I saw during the offseason and in the preseason stuff is that we were building up pretty good depth.
Yes, because
really? Yeah.
It looked like people were hitting people on the right angles and everything was. I mean, there was penetration. Everything was going fine. And a lot of this was, the first team playing the other team's first team. So it wasn't like it was going off until like the second and third string. I mean, it's just confusing to me. I think. I do like our defensive line. It's obvious. I mean, my co-hosts think that I'm like super Michael Bennett fan number 1. Not necessarily the case. I'm just calling it like it is. And I think for a 7th round pick, everybody that's a Cowboy fan should be doing a damn cartwheel right now because he does make a difference. I mean, he's not getting all the sacks and everything that people, might have thought, but I am a big proponent of quarterback pressures also. And hits. Things, touches and hits and body contact that might necessarily record as a sack in a record book. I think he does a lot of that. And I think
I need a buzzer. To buzz in.
There's no buzzers. We don't on a very cheap budget.
My hand is raised. My hand is raised and I'll sit quietly until it's my turn.
Okay, but I think with him, Quinn and Tank, I think with all 3 of them out there, I think it's a win-win. And that's just my opinion, and for a 7th round pick. So, you can go ahead and stand on up, Lisa. And hold on a second. I got one more thing. No, go ahead and stand up.
That's fine. No, I'll wait. No. Don't worry. I'll wait.
No, go ahead and stand. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
So, do you believe that our defense has gotten better since he got here?
I think aspects of it's gotten better.
Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no answer.
If we were in court, they would make you say yes or no.
No, we're not in court. I would say it depends on, in some aspects, yes. because I remember a time, like I told Ron before to begin earlier today in our group chat, that I remember a time where we couldn't get sacks and we weren't getting no pressure neither. So to me, it's refreshing to see at least some type of penetration, and I can see Tank Lawrence going for a tackle, and I can see Bennett blowing up the quarterback, or I can see it on the other side. I like seeing stuff like that. I just do. Because we haven't seen that for a long, long time. Remember we had Jason Hatcher and all those guys?
Yeah.
Great guys. You know, they'll sit up there and fight and stuff, bend, don't break. But what happened and stuff at the end of every game? They go through all that stuff just to break at the end every single time. You know, and I mean, I just like seeing what I see right now. Now, I mean, the whole tackling and the lack of coverage, that's something completely different. You know, but I do think it's additional Michael Bennett is an improvement. Improving the overall defense, no, but aspects of the defense, most certainly.
I'll give you that. I can live with that.
And, you know, and that's the reason why they call me Frederick Douglass. Because I'm the great debater. Go ahead.
You're not debating anything. I mean, you didn't say yes or no. You didn't have a firm stance one way or the other.
I had to turn and look at your head for a second. I'm like, did he do something with his hair?
Yes, I did. I got you haven't seen me for a while. I grew out a big afro and I got a part down the side.
Here's the thing. I get what you're saying. And, you know, for the most part, you know, yeah, I agree. Okay, for a 7th round pick, whatever. I mean, he's a rental player. I doubt if I had to pick right now, who do I want to keep between him and Robert Quinn? It's no question who it is. It's not Michael Bennett.
Yeah, I
mean,
understand
at this
that.
point, I'm debating.
I agree with you on that too. I would take. I mean, that's not
sure.
I mean, obviously, I take Robert Quinn over Michael Bennett.
But until it starts to translate into a game where I come out of it and say, we're going to be okay. We're going to be just fine. Because I don't care how much you're getting to the quarterback, you're getting close, you're touching his cleats. I don't care. That run defense is horrible right now. We made our own practice squad cut the person we cut from our own practice squad, or maybe they picked him up from the practice squad. I don't even really know.
Oh, Bo Scarborough?
Yes.
Yep. AKA Bo Jackson. Yeah.
For a while, we made him look like an all-pro. And the quarterback, let's not even go into the backup quarterback, who I'll give it that he is a mobile quarterback. And that's not something that you would have had to deal with if you had Matt Stafford. There again, we roll it all the way back up to the same song and dance we talk about every week. It goes back to coaching. How are you not prepared? Even I knew Jeff Driscoll was mobile.
Yeah.
I knew that before yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, but I don't know what Jason Garrett's approach is, really. I don't know what he thinks about during the week, but it's obviously not against the team he's getting ready to play. And
it goes back to we were talking about last week, the nameless, faceless. Okay, that doesn't translate now. It might have worked in the 90s. That's what we talked about. In the 90s, you could walk into a game and not care who you were playing because everything you did on the field was better than whatever they were going to throw at you.
Yeah, because we were just that much better than everybody else.
We were just better, period. I mean, it didn't matter if you're going to run this defense. We don't care because we know without a shadow of a doubt that our offense can combat that. And we have players in place, it goes back to the in-game adjustments and making changes on the fly. And I think Dak is, I don't know how much freedom he has to audible out, because I would love to know what the percentages were at the end of Tony's career, how much he was audibling out of what was called from the sidelines.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was heavy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it had to be, my guess would be, it'd probably be, 65, 70% of the time he was, audibling out. But that's what's so frustrating. And we all saw that meme, the week before of that girl running into that glass partition 5 times in a row. And it was like the Dallas Cowboys trying to run the ball on first down every drive. And that's how I feel watching a game. Like, you can't start out slow against the Lions with a backup quarterback and no
Now, well, here's
running
a
game.
question. Here's a question. If I was listening to the ticket earlier this morning. You know, no secret, my favorite sports radio station here locally in the DFW area.
Another thing we
But
disagree on.
yeah, she likes that other fan that had a hard time keeping co-hosts for like several years, and I guess they're finally set now. But anyways,
I think there's a bunch of turnover now again too. So
yeah, so yeah, come on back home to the ticket. But anyways, they brought up a point. Would we be looking at this game in the same light if Matthew Stafford started or played in this game? Same same situation, same everything, but Matthew Stafford was in the game instead.
we
Still got the W and everything.
Oh, you're saying because
I mean, if it was the same result, well, just two different the quarterbacks just swap, but it's the same result. We won the game 35-24, no turnovers.
27.
Or 20, yeah,
35-27.
Yeah, 35-27. And will we be up in open arms right now?
I'd be a little less up in arms, but I would still be because the Lions were still, they still don't have a running game. But Kenny Galladay,
Bo Scarborough got to, no, he has something to say about that.
He only had 53 yards when all is said and done.
It
felt like a lot more than that.
It was the best 53 yards a man. But
I mean,
he was out there living his best life.
I think his running opened up a lot of those the quarterback runs were designed runs. But I think with if Matt Stafford had been playing, Cheeto would have been. I mean, the secondary was a mess yesterday, but it would have been a big, holy hot mess if Matt Stafford had been back. Had been back there. That would have been the difference. I think. I don't think they would have run it. You wouldn't have had the yards on the ground Jeff Driscoll got them. But so yeah, I mean, I think it would have been more of a track meet. I don't know that we could have won with 35 points.
Okay. Well, my next question.
I think it would have been high. I think it would have been a high scoring game. There's a possibility we could have still put out because they did show those stats. I think we've beaten Detroit 4 out of the last 6 times we played them with Matthew. Well, probably 4 out of 5 until we played him yesterday. But we had beaten them a significant amount of time with Matthew Stafford in the lineup.
Yeah,
in a row.
Do you think there's? I mean, we spoke about depth in our secondary, or the depth that we thought we had in preseason. Do you guys think there's anybody that we could just bring up from the practice squad who could just basically, if not meet what Cheeto is currently doing, might possibly succeed what he's doing?
I feel like I feel like it's time for. I still don't understand why Jordan Lewis is not playing more.
Yeah,
I thought he is. It's Les. Who was in the lineup Sunday? Was
Cheeto.
Anthony Brown?
Yeah, Anthony Brown played quite a bit, but now he's out for the year. So
why are they jumping back? Why are they jumping back up on that old damn horse, knowing what the result's going to be when you just had a guy who had two turnovers in 2 weeks? Why did they do that? Why is it like? I mean, why is it where I could see that I'm going to make $200 doing this consistently for the next 2 days? No, screw that. I'm going to do the complete opposite. It has never been proven to work ever, and I'm still going to expect my $200. That's what the Cowboys do every single week.
Did he replace Cheeto 1 week? Jordan Lewis?
It was Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's really still, we've not replaced Cheeto with him now. Cheeto's still been in there.
Well, see, you know what the funny thing is about Anthony Brown and Cheeto? They both had amazing rookie years and haven't done anything since then.
Cheeto did okay last year. Yeah, he did okay last year.
Was he still? I can't even remember last year. Was he?
Cheeto played pretty well last year too.
Yeah,
I almost felt like he played better last year than he did his rookie season.
So is he shell shocked? What's wrong with him?
I don't. I
Troy, you asking a lot of tough questions.
yeah. I don't really know, but But the thing that scares me the most about him is this, not necessarily the players that we're playing up against this coming Sunday, but the coaches. And
Yeah.
if what they will do is they will look at the last two games and how once they realize, and I think the thing with Cheeto too is, and I could be totally wrong, once he gets burnt, then it's a mental thing for him, and then he's terrified that he's going to get burnt again.
Yeah,
And
all Tom Brady has to do is just take a couple steps back and throw the ball over the back end of the guy's shoulder over and over again, because Cheeto is not going to turn around. And
that's what
where
I'm saying.
he's at,
Like once they
he's
realize,
not going to be in position to do anything about it. That's what's going to happen.
The Patriots
Please
will.
tell me that game's not this week.
Yeah,
it's not this week.
It
Please
is.
tell me.
It is 100%.
Yeah, it is.
And they're going to go to him. They will pick the life that they're going to steal his soul on Sunday if they decide. I mean, like that's but again, it goes back to coaching to me. If you know that that's your weakest link, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Cheeto, as much as he struggles sometimes, he was not our weakest link on Sunday. Yesterday, it was the safeties, and I don't mean both of the safeties. I mean one of them. And
you sure it wasn't both? I mean, I'd be okay with it if you said both.
I don't feel like
it
was.
I wouldn't be very
Xavier
upset
Rhodes. I feel like it was. I mean, Xavier Woods. Who's
Xavier
Xavier Rhodes? Oh, he plays for Minnesota.
Quarter did he leave the game? When did he leave the game? Did he?
In the fourth.
Yeah, he got hurt for a second.
It wasn't the fourth.
But I think he came back in. I don't think he stayed out. But every single time it was a big play given up or a missed tackle, it was 23 every single time.
Darren Thompson.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I never thought the day would come.
Yeah, I remember
Y'all
his
know what I'm
name's
about
up
to
on
say.
my dart.
Don't
up
say
on my
it.
dartboard.
Yeah, don't say it. Please don't say it.
You know what I'm about to say. I never thought the day would come where I'd be like, holy
no,
crap.
no.
I have to say it. I have to say it.
No.
I never thought the day would come where I would say,
the goat.
The beast.
No, I'm not going to go that far, but when does Jeff Heath get healthy? Is what I said yesterday, but I need to read y'all some statistics real quick about the safety that almost was, but wasn't. Can we talk about my friend Jamal? And he's not really my friend, just in my head he is. Let me read you his statistics, since you want to talk about Michael Bennett and DeMarcus Lawrence's statistics as D lineman. In 2019, my friend Jamal he's played in 10 games. He has 6 sacks by himself and 47 solo tackles and 2 forced fumbles. He's a safety, ladies and gentlemen. He's a safety. He's a safety. So the next time somebody wants to post that Jeff Heath is a beast or goat, whatever, go pick a picture of Jamal Adams and put it up there instead, please. Thank you.
Man, they don't even know what a beast is. It's just something fancy to say.
What is the point that you're trying to make, Lisa? Because
our safeties are terrible.
Jeff Heath has eight interceptions in his career. So what are you saying?
Jamal, that was 2019 statistics. That wasn't his whole career.
That was one. Okay. That makes all the difference in the world.
Jeff Heath, if I'm not mistaken, I think has 8 in his career. If I'm not mistaken.
And can I throw out this number and stuff? And I know Lisa's going to hate it and stuff, and I know Ron's going to hate it too.
No.
But I still have to say,
no.
8.5 sacks, Robert Quinn. Missed 2 games, the first 2 games of the season. Michael Bennett, 2 games of the season, 3 sacks, 15 quarterback pressures. The only player that's played every game this season, folks, 4.5 sacks, 25 quarterback pressures. That would be Mr. Lawrence. And I know that.
Yeah, you jumped in it. You knew what was coming.
I
know there's a war daddy.
There's a couple of variables going on.
I know there's variables. I know there's double teams, and I know all that stuff, but still.
Double
That's still
team.
Nothing.
You got coming off of surgery, and then you got 2 guys that don't even know what team they might be on next year that's pretty much playing for a contract. So there's a lot of different variables.
Robert Quinn better be a Cowboy next year.
As of right now, he doesn't know where
Okay,
he's going to be.
let me pose y'all this question. This is a question that came up in my own head yesterday. If, when you look at the big piece of the pie, the big money bucket, and you start, you're about to give 9/10 of it to Rain Dakota Prescott. So whatever.
What? We are, but Dak Prescott sucks. He's just
no,
always
that's a
thrown for
different
over.
conversation, and we'll get into that in a second. It's a real quick discussion.
Okay, okay, good.
If you had to pick, let's just say there was enough money left in the bucket to pay one of these two players, which one do you pick?
No.
Robert Quinn, Byron Jones.
Robert Quinn.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
No, because I mean you can claim Robert or Byron Jones is locked down, and I can agree with that. But I still need some turnovers. So I'd rather have my front four stabilized and strong to generate pressure, to get some hits, maybe get some sacks, and maybe try and maybe make quarterbacks confused to throw some picks or do something. I mean, I like Byron Jones. I think he's great. He is locked down, but we haven't got to.
Because you'll find out. You'll find out how much we, just like with Heath being out, you will find out a little bit more impact by Byron Jones. But you would really find out if Byron Jones left how much we are very dependent upon him.
Okay, so would you pick Byron Jones then, Starstruck?
And I am saying it like this. It would have to be if I knew for a fact we were getting a legit safety, I would give up Byron Jones. If you couldn't guarantee me that we're getting a legit safety in like a Jamal Adams, then we've got to keep Byron Jones. Because if you get Jamal Adams, you're going to probably be able to just put about any half little bit of a cornerback in there and still be
Jamal
decent,
Adams is going to make Cheeto and Anthony look better.
Yeah, well, here's my question. Well, I guess here's my question then, because I mean we both like obviously
pass rushers are harder to come by.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was my question. See, that was my question. So I would go with Robert Quinn still. You know, but I mean, there's nothing against Byron Jones. But I mean, there's people complain about.
Not at all.
There's people that complain about him. To be honest, but there's a reason why you don't hear his name that much because the other guy's locked down. I mean, he's running. He's like a prison warden on his side of the field. So
he's doing half of his job.
Kenny Golladay was targeted one time yesterday. Oh, Kenny Golladay, who now granted the chemistry between he and Jeff Driscoll isn't the same as he and Matt Stafford, but Matt Stafford and Kenny Golladay were magical before Matt Stafford got hurt. And even in the other game last week, he played pretty well with Jeff Driscoll. So the fact that he had one catch for 34 yards, I think, and it was a miracle catch in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even think it was against Byron. I think it was Cheeto. Or no, it might have been Darian Thompson. But anyway, it wasn't.
Is that the one where he pulled the face mask or something like that? Yeah. It was Darian Thompson, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we definitely need some defensive improvements still. Let's look at the offense just a little bit. Mr. Dakota Prescott, 444 yards.
Everybody needs to just leave him alone.
3 touchdowns.
Wow.
No picks.
Fantastic.
Over 1,000 yards passing the last 3 games has never been done by any Cowboy ever in the history of ever. I would just like to let me go ahead and just sit down here for a second and get my stuff straightened out. All you Packer fans, well, you guys suck too. But all you Cowboy fans that sit there in your little corner of your room and stuff, watching the Cowboy game, just waiting for Mr. Prescott to make a mistake so you didn't hop on social media and think that you're right about something, complain like, see, this is the reason why. Shut up. It's so over and so done. You just look stupid now. Every single week. And they have to, and Dakota, Dak has to show me something this week. Who the hell are you? That's the question who the hell do you think you are that Dak has to show you anything?
Here's a realization I had in the last, 6 days. The same people that are calling us fake or phony or whatever because we criticize the team are the same people that don't believe they can love Tony Romo and Dak Prescott at the same time. Like, you're a hypocrite for calling me fake because I want to, air my grievances against the team, but yet you're bashing your quarterback at every turn, and you're making up stuff because he hasn't given you hardly anything to bash him about this year.
Yeah, no, I used to be not saying I bashed the guy because I thought he just needed to get more reps. And, I mean, it seemed like his work ethic was, unquestioned and unmatched by basically any quarterback his age in the NFL. I had my criticisms. I thought that he could probably be, at best, between top 10, top 15 quarterback, in the league. But the guy's getting close to being in top 5.
No doubt.
I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, once you get to top 5,
okay?
you start. Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Got him all choked up.
Got him all choked up.
I'm just getting choked up over Dak Prescott, but this is what it sounds like when doves cry.
But you can't. And people will say, well, the statistics are whatever. There was a lot of garbage minutes, and I understand that, but
we haven't been playing anybody hardly. Yeah, that's true.
You know what? I'm about sick of you saying that. We can't control our schedule. We won 6 of them. We lost 4 of them. Of our 4 losses, one of them was just absurd. Well, the other 2 probably warranted.
But you can make the same argument about the team we're getting ready to play this week because there's a lot of teams they played at the beginning of the season. There's nobody also. But the difference is
they won them all.
There's a difference,
but that's coaching.
There's a difference.
That's coaching versus lack of coaching.
But for a moment, can we pause for a second and just realize that is a different team, right? We just pause right now and just identify that the team we're about to play is a different team than we are as far as schedule.
But is it because
Super Bowl champions, right?
True.
And
no,
they typically don't play anybody every year, and they still show up.
Yeah, because they're a product of a weak Division II. And, like I was telling you guys earlier or yesterday, on Saturday I was looking at my what day was Saturday? I was looking at my We Run the East shirt. A lot of Cowboys fans have it and stuff.
Yep.
I looked at that shirt. I started thinking about it. I'm like, this message alone just sells mediocrity amongst my team. I threw that crap in the trash. Because that's the first damn thing a Cowboy fan wants to come out their damn mouth is that we run the East. Yeah. Whoop the damn do. The East. The weakest conference known to mankind. I hope we can run the East. Yeah. I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, it's in the trash. And I ain't taking it back out. Because, I mean, we'll have new ones that are going to sell at the end of this season. Anyways. We still run the East.
See, mine doesn't have a date on it, so mine's still good.
But, I mean, that's just the way I feel about this franchise. But, again, back to Dak, I mean, there was people sitting there posting saying, oh, let's, I'd take Colin Kaepernick over him. What different universe are these people in?
It's clickbait type stuff. Yeah, he's getting choked up again. It's clickbait type stuff.
Every time we talk about that.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, the man hasn't played for 3 years. Now, either you're for or against Colin. I don't really even care what your views are on the situation. I don't care. But the fact of the matter is, the man hasn't played 3 years. And you still got some there people saying that,
he's better than Cooper Rush.
He is better than Cooper Rush. There's no question. And I don't care what anybody says.
I don't.
You can at me if you want.
I don't. Is he?
Yeah.
I don't.
Are you kidding me right now?
Did you see the workout video?
Did you see preseason?
Yeah, I did. But at least there was people out there and stuff, not people chasing down badly thrown deep balls and everything else. There's a difference. I mean, some of those passing things, he looked kind of like Uncle Rico trying to throw that steak over the mountain in Napoleon Dynamite.
Cooper Rush is playing against people that are sacking stuff at Home Depot right now. What's the freaking difference?
I remember a time where people thought Cooper. I remember a time when
Piggly Wiggly.
I remember a time when when some Cowboys fans thought Cooper Rush was better than Dak Prescott. So I don't know.
They're the same
Maybe.
people thinking Colin Kaepernick's better than him right now.
I
Like,
don't know.
even the national, and here's how, and we can, Dak is fine. He is better than fine. And whenever you're sitting in your own little mind somewhere in Burleson, Texas, and you want to complain about this quarterback, I want you to just go pull up the statistics.
Hey, Ryan, is Jay Novacek complaining out in Burleson?
No, but go pull up the statistics for the other two that went in that same draft, except for that they didn't go in the 4th round. They went number 1 and number 2 overall. Go look at that. And then, even if the statistics, you're like, Dak's got garbage yards and blah, 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 whatever, then go just watch. You don't even have to watch a whole Philly game or a whole Rams game. Just go watch 1 quarter. And then if you still come out of that 1 quarter after watching the Philly or the Rams game and you say, I'd much rather have Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, then I tell you what, I will take you down to the nearest sporting goods store and I will buy you the most expensive Philly jersey or Rams jersey that is in that building, and I will sign your exit paperwork because you are an idiot. That is all. Mic drop. Exit stage left.
But I think, you know what, this is what it is. And I'm going to be completely blunt. And this is what it is. I think like a lot of guys, because it's always like typically guys that are like, I think they walked into a game with their wife or the girlfriend, and the girlfriend or wife said, "Oh boy, Dak Prescott's cute." Ever since then, the guy's always hated the guy. That's probably what it is. I'm serious. It's like some type of subconscious weird stuff going on.
We already know what it is, Troy. We know it has nothing to do with that. We already know what it is.
What is it?
We get on this every single time.
I don't know what it is. I don't
El Antonio Romo. We know that people just, hey man, they still. I still hold some, disappointments that the man didn't get a Super Bowl. So,
you can't hold that against him. You can't hold that against him. You got to hold that against
Dak.
You got to hold that against Jerry for not giving him the stuff that he needed around him.
That just I don't know, that just lived and saw nothing but Tony Romo their entire lives, that generation, and they just wanted to see this guy win. And now to see someone come and take this team over and possibly going to get it done, yeah, I can imagine.
Well, I think also it has a lot to do with how it ended for Tony. Like it's like a breakup and they didn't get closure.
Yeah, and the new husband's doing much better than you are.
Yeah, and they also don't. And they also don't. Yeah, and they don't. They also
taking care of the kids, doing everything better.
Yeah, and they also have like
the side dude moved in, and everybody's happy, and nobody's fighting.
Yeah,
and it's all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, your girl leaving messages on Facebook talking about how she living her best life, and
it wasn't the way people wanted him to win a Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset. He and Jason Witten, being on one of those tandem bikes together, riding off into the sunset. But it just didn't happen that way. And I feel like that's the group of people that are still holding on to that, is they felt like Tony got a raw deal. But at the time, nobody in their right mind was like, you got to bring Tony back, when Dak had won 10 straight or 9 straight or whatever it was at the time.
And plus being away from the realms of reality, thinking that Tony Romo could come back. Yeah, he could come back and throw the ball around. Yeah, until he gets hit and he's injured again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's not physically. He's just not there. He wasn't there.
Are there people that realistically believe that he could step out of the booth right now and suit up and play?
Those people.
Yes, there are.
There's people that's dumb enough to think you get to walk out there with a clipboard with a Tom Landry.
They are. I've seen them floating around on social media. They are.
They're the same. They're the same.
Romo come back.
They're the same people that think Jason Witten can coach a team to the Super Bowl. They're the same people that think Des Bryant's coming back next week.
Can I
These
challenge
are all
y'all
the
to
same
start
people.
removing some folks that y'all follow? Because I don't see any of that riffraff in my timeline.
I see a bunch of funny stuff. There's like people. That's the problem with this our fan base. We're all Cowboys fans. Nobody's a bigger fan than anybody else. I don't care if you can wear Dallas Cowboy gear every single day if you want to. Nobody cares. But just because you do it doesn't make you a better fan. I mean, if anything, it questions where you work and stuff, because I don't know jobs where you can wear Cowboy gear every day.
And do the Cowboys know you?
Yeah, they don't. So we can have all these fancy nicknames and all that type of stuff and try and say things that sound like you're more smarter than what you are, but you're no bigger Cowboy fan than anybody else. Period. Now I'm going to drop my mic.
But like the people, some of the snapshots that y'all send me, like, are these real? Are these real people?
No, they're very real. They're very real.
Like the one that said, "I don't think our offense is going to be able to stop our defense today."
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like what? What does that even mean?
Yeah,
like, who are you?
Yeah, they talk about these quarterback matchups where I understand, it is a matchup, but these people talk about like Dak Prescott's actually going to be throwing side by side with Aaron Rodgers and stuff, like in a duel or whatever. Like, what are they throwing balls through tires? What are they doing? I mean, it's just stupid. What, is he going to knock an apple off somebody's head? I mean, this is some of the things that I see. Just confuses me. Des Bryant again. Love what he did for the Cowboys. Obviously, it's been documented over and over again that he's kind of a head case.
There we go again.
They didn't want to. I mean, he had to be woken up to get to practice and view tape. But yeah, you still want him to come to the team, and you see him running drills and stuff on the internet about the equivalent of Colin Kaepernick doing what he did, which means
are we on week
absolutely
2
nothing.
yet?
Are we on
week 2 yet?
Week 2 what?
I think I saw a video. I don't know if it's been 2 weeks yet. That said he'd be ready, making some phone calls in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
This is the beginning of the second week.
Yeah, his phone's probably ringing.
So at the end of this week, he'll start making calls.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, Pumpkin, you shouldn't be having to make calls. They should be calling you if it's.
Somebody said he should have been out there with Cap.
Yeah.
Bryce Butler was.
Yeah, Bryce Butler certainly was. Chasing down.
Oh, really?
Chasing down poorly thrown balls. Yeah, he was out there.
I'm going to say this. They weren't all poorly thrown.
I know. I'm going to give him some slack. I think he does deserve to play somewhere in the NFL. Not a starter, but certainly like background level. But
I guarantee you he could be a better starter in Cincinnati than what they got rolling out right now.
Well, God, I got a 9-year-old.
Be a better starter in a lot of different teams, actually.
I got a 9-year-old sleeping right now who's probably could be better than him. But
that dude in Pittsburgh, oh my goodness!
It just gets to the point with the Colin Kaepernick thing and this whole thing about we want you to train on this day, we want to be in front of the media. I think personally both sides are full of crap because
There's only one, and if you read did you read the release part of what they wanted him to sign on Saturday?
I saw some of it, but it gets to a point sooner or later. How bad do you want to play?
Yeah,
because the NFL is going to protect themselves.
I 100% disagree with that because he hasn't compromised yet. Because if he signs that, the NFL's trying to be sneaky, and what basically that verbiage said is that by him signing that, he's it's the indemnity part where you hold harmless and you have no further claims. The verbiage is very vague, and had he signed that, even though the intent, on the surface level, it looks like he's signing that release for the workout for Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Legally, with that big bucket of attorneys the NFL has, they could have then said later when he filed, I guarantee you, if he does not get signed by one of these teams, he is going to file a collusion suit. I don't know that I don't know that he ever brought it before. Maybe he did, but that will resurface.
I thought he did.
And there was some sort of settlement, but I don't know exactly what it
entails. There was a settlement. But my question is, at this stage
that verbiage would have given them a big giant gray area of an out for any further claims that he might have had.
But my question is, wouldn't it have been more appropriate to try and do something like this, like in the off season? Who's going to sign him in week 10, 11 of the NFL anyways right now?
He didn't decide to do it. The NFL told him when it was going to happen.
Yeah, I get that too, but
because now they're going to say, we gave him a chance.
Exactly.
We can't help it that he didn't want to do it under our term. Wah, wah, wah. But he had a chance to work out in front of 24 teams, and he's the one that changed it at the last minute. So, I mean, this was a one, because nobody in their right mind, all normal team, if you're working out for a team, it always happens on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because nobody's traveling yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They have time to watch.
And it's
So
not
for the
all
NFL
it's not all the way on one side of the country either. It's usually centralized.
Well, but that Atlanta's pretty central for what they were doing, because they were bringing all the teams into one place. So on a Tuesday, that totally would have worked.
Okay.
On a Saturday, it's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And
so before we lose the remainder of our followers and fan base, because we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, and we know we're in Cowboys Nation in this big state of Texas. There's probably not a lot of people.
Well, no, it's just
riding and dying for Colin Kaepernick.
It's just a point of some of the fans saying, "Oh yeah, I take him over Dak." I mean, that's how it all really started. So yeah. Anyways, enough with him.
It's very few. By the way.
Yeah, but yeah, they all.
There's a lot of them don't want him coming here at all because they know he's going to hit a knee.
Yeah,
and they are not trying to see that on the sideline. So
well, I blame them.
There's more that don't want him than do.
I blame the media for even bringing out the story saying that the Cowboys had slight interest anyways. Everybody knows, living here in Texas, that was a lie to begin with anyways.
They were sending a rep, but then at the last minute, Jerry said, no, I'm not sending one. So they were initially going to send one, and then they said no. So I don't know what happened with that, but.
Yeah. Jerry probably had a late night drinking some of that Woodward Reserve and said,
just didn't want to fake the funk.
Yeah.
Save on some gas, send them somewhere else.
Hello, I'm Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles Cowboys Talk podcast, sponsored by Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, free, which you can use right from your phone or computer with creation tools that allow you to record and edit to get your show sounding glorious. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So what you need to do is download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Did I mention it was free?